Hello and welcome to F1 Now. In this video, we're going to be giving you the biggest winners and losers to the Austrian Grand Prix. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we asked for an action-packed weekend in Austria, and the Red Bull Ring did not disappoint. What a race! One that had everyone fighting for the opportunities that came about because of the first lap incident. But let's begin with the biggest winners, and of course it is McLaren. In the grid prediction, I told you guys that it's going to be McLaren dominating and they will get a double podium, and they did just that in the end, even though quali was a bit scruffy for them in the case of Piastri. But all in all, there was no way anyone could have held up a candle to McLaren because this is their best track in the calendar. And with that, it meant Lando would have been right on the money, and he did just as I predicted, hitting all the marks and really casting some doubts into Piastri's mind. Lando didn't put a foot wrong the whole weekend. He was a step above his teammates. But even with that, we also have to commend Piastri because as a championship leader, the next best thing was for him to be right there behind whoever takes the win to ensure he doesn't lose serious points. So he won't be feeling hard done by how the weekend turned out. So ask and you shall receive. In the previous video, I posed a question about whether we will see two McLarens going at it for position, and boy did they deliver. It even got to a point where it looked like they were going to take each other out with that Piastri lockup, but they managed to keep it clean and respectful. Now, looking back at the race on Piastri's side, he will be wishing he had known to pit when Lando had a slow stop for his first stint, because this would have kept them both within touching distance throughout the race, rather than Piastri having to cover ground and being hindered by the likes of Alpine and the battling Stake and AMR car. But it's all what ifs now, and he's going to have to look forward to the next race, and it's going to be another showdown in Silverstone because they will also be very fast there. Now guys, please, I urge you to watch the previous grid prediction video because man did we get it right. Even with Ferrari seeing a rise in performance with the floor upgrades, the team was looking more like the ones who could spoil things for McLaren should things go wrong, and they turned out to be miles ahead in pace to the closest competitor behind, which was George Russell. That W16 simply had no answer to the pace of the two Ferraris this weekend. Now, to stoke a fire in the Ferrari camp, I want to say maybe Hamilton shouldn't have been pitted for the second time to give him a fighting chance for the podium against his teammates. I mean, he did say his hards were fine, meaning he could have went further. And Alonso as well as Lawson proved that there wasn't a considerable drop off in performance in choosing that choice because they were also able to jump Bortoleto with their one stop. So there's going to be a lot to talk about in that debrief. Also, what an amazing weekend out there for the Stake cars. Bortoleto stated his intentions with how he managed to get into Q3 on Saturday, and he went on to have an amazing drive in the race, and having to fight it out with his manager Alonso in the last laps was nice to see. And how can we forget the Hulk, who also made a serious jump from where he qualified to finish behind his teammate for a double points finish for the team in neon green. I have to say this race proved true to what I said before, that there is a lot of competitive racing within the midfield and arguably more done than with the front runners. These guys do a lot of fighting and strategic calls just for those few points. It's truly amazing to see. Now, while we saw some heavy winners, we also were presented with some serious losers, and none bigger than Red Bull this weekend. I'm trying not to say Verstappen, obviously, because he had no part played in the incident with Antonelli, and I'm sure without it, he would have went on just fine. But I don't think he would have been able to challenge the Ferraris on this one. But Red Bull are losers because, if anything, this weekend showed that it's not to their full benefit to build a car only around Verstappen. Tsunoda was nowhere on this one, and he needed to be the next guy to pick up points for situations just like this. And we really can't blame him because it's clear that the problem isn't the second driver, but a car that is hard to drive for anyone other than Verstappen, because there is no way we can accuse the same Tsunoda who was dominating in the Racing Bulls a few months ago as being a bad driver now. So some serious changes will have to be made in how Red Bull builds their cars moving forward. Now, next on the losers list is Williams. This was the weekend in which Williams could have gained a lot, especially from where Albon qualified and where he was just before he had to retire. A double DNF gave the teams behind a chance to cover ground on Williams in the championship. This weekend will be seen as a huge opportunity lost for them. Now that is it for the biggest winners and losers to the Austrian Grand Prix. I can't wait to see what Silverstone is going to give us because it's also going to be crazy. So with that, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Once again, thank you and bye for now.